Howdy Sea Campers, my name is Livy and I'm so excited to be talking with you today about symbiotic relationships. And this video today is a little bit Valentine's Day themed because I know that Valentine's Day is coming up soon for you all. So we will be talking a little bit about relationships and all the different types in our different ocean environments and different creatures, right? So first, what is a symbiotic relationship? So throughout the world and the environments, we have different pairs of species that have relationships. And there's a variety of forms, and we're going to be talking about 4 today. So one is mutualism. So that's where one species and the other species both benefit from it. So for an example would be clownfish and sea anemones, right? So our clownfish, they have mucus all over their bodies that allows them to live and go inside and out of sea anemones. And sea anemones benefit from having clownfish there by whenever they eat, they actually get to get the nutrients of their leftovers, right? And the clownfish get the protection of the sea anemone, right? So that is an example of mutualism. Another example would be commensalism. So that is when one organism is benefited by the situation and one organism is unbothered. It neither benefits or has a negative impact on it. So an example of that would be when some small fishes, they actually go inside the bells of jellyfish. So inside that crevice, they're able to have the protection of the jellyfish itself and its stingers and everything. But the jellyfish is unbothered. It doesn't have a negative impact or a positive one by having those small fish inside. Another one is parasitism. So that is when one species benefits and one species is negatively impacted. So that example of that would be isopods. So if you've ever seen isopods, they're a type of creature that actually can go inside of a fish's mouth and eat the tongue and then starts living as the tongue inside the fish's mouth. And so the fish is negatively impacted by not having a tongue. It has the isopod in there, but the isopod is benefiting by eating some of that food source that the fish tries to eat, and it lives inside of there. It's crazy. Y'all can look it up eventually one day. But that is an example of parasitism. Another one is competition. Competition is basically where neither of them actually benefit of the two species. It's where they're competing for resources. So one example would be corals and sponges. They live in the same area, but if one outdominates like the other one in a population, they're competing for resources, right? So it would be hard for corals to get the same amount of food or resources if sponges were overpopulated. But so now that you know those 4 things, we're going to actually be doing a craft that correlates with symbiotic relationships. We are going to be creating our own love bugs or our own little creatures here that will have a relationship with your favorite marine animal. But for this craft, all you need is yarn, some pipe cleaners, googly eyes, hot glue, and you can also use this with parent guidance or parent permission. We need some felt, and that's really it. So just a creative mind. So let's get into it. All right, so once you have collected all of your items, and also for the yarn, remember that you can also use different recycled materials. You could even gather plastic bags and tie them together, try to make a long string. You can always use what you've learned about recycling from our other videos in this project as well. Whenever you are thinking of your symbiotic relationship, I have on this little worksheet here that according to your last name, or the first letter of your last name, will determine whether you are mutualism, commensalism, all of the different types. You can see that. And of course, if you are feeling a little more Valentine's Day theme and want to do mutualism, want to feel the love, you feel free to change. The first thing that we are going to do, we're going to take our yarn or our recycled material, and we're going to take our 2 fingers here. We're going to wrap a bunch of times around it. The more times you do it, the thicker your love bug is going to be. So I used a lot more yarn on this one and a little bit less on this one, so you can adjust your sizes from there. All right, so once you get a good amount around your 2 fingers here, what you're going to do is you're going to leave a little bit of yarn left over, and you're just going to cut that. And what we're going to do is we are actually going to slide this off, and we're going to wrap your 2 leftover yarn strings around the center of your yarn wrapping here. Once you get it wrapped around a couple of times, that's when you will make a really solid knot here. You just like put it underneath and put it real tight so it kind of makes this little shape here. And I like to do 2 knots to make sure that it is secure. That's what's going to hold your little love bug together. Once you get that all selected up and all knotted up, you can cut the length of your 2 dangling ones. And what we're going to do, as you see, you have loops all the way around the sides. We're going to put our scissors through all the sides here and cut it through so that it creates that pom-pom look, right? And you'll repeat that on both sides. All right, so once you get your loops cut, you can start kind of fluffing it around. And as you can see, I've got some uneven yarn. You can either adjust that and cut it to the length you want, or you can keep it the way that you have it. You might find some straggling loops here and be able to get that all settled. So the next thing that you'll do, once you get that, you'll take your felt here, and we're going to make the little feet. We're going to make a little heart, cut out a heart of your felt, and make the feet of your love bug. You can also use cardstock, cardboard. If you want to recycle some old cereal boxes that you find around your house, you can use that as the feet. We're just using felt because we have it here at the office, but feel free to use as much as you can. Here we're going to use our hot glue. We're going to do a little squiggle here of hot glue. You're just going to stick it at the bottom here. You also, as you kind of got your hot glue out, we're gonna do our googly eyes. And again, if you don't have googly eyes at home, you can use beads, you can use anything that you find around your house that you want to get creative with. This is your little creature, your love bug, so that you can make it your own for sure. We're excited to see what everyone creates. And of course, here you can see the differences in the different pipe cleaners. This one's a little more Valentine's Day themed. This one has a hat. This one I'm doing an algae theme. So you can use your pipe cleaners to create little hands, different accessories for your love bug to make him creative. But again, you'll just create your pipe cleaners the way you want them. You'll put some hot glue here and stick them in where you want. And there you have it. Here is my algae themed love bug that is going to be having a symbiotic relationship with an oyster. And there you have it. Here are my 3 love bugs that I have made, and we can't wait to see your love bugs on Flipgrid. We also had a symbiotic relationship comic if you would like to fill that out or draw or have anything, but you can also just present it and tell us what you have created. We're super excited to see ya. See y'all at camp.